Hello. Hello, lovely. Um, I wanted to hop on today and talk to you about anxiety plus the relationship struggle. Um, for those of you who don't know, who care to know, I am anxiously attached, and I have worked very hard on that over time. I guess you could say I was anxiously attached. I don't feel like that I identify with that very much anymore, but I digress. So, for those of you who have dealt with any kind of anxiety related attachment style in your relationship, I think this is going to be really helpful for you. So, I wanted to talk to you about how I discovered that anxiety was like the third wheel in the relationship and what I did about it. It helped me recognize that I was in a toxic and emotionally abusive relationship. But it helped me get out relatively unscathed. Whereas before, I know that that would have really torn me apart, would have really wrecked me, um, really would have been really hard for me to get over, right? All of that. So it's important. This is an important topic to my heart because I know a lot of people struggle with anxiety, with their relationships, like with all of that. And so let me just dive right in, right? So I think it starts. If you are anxiously attached, it starts with the idea that you have a fear of abandonment, right? Fundamentally, for whatever reason, you weren't heard as a child. Love was felt, seemed conditional to you, and you're always afraid that it's going to get away from you. It's going to be hard for you to keep, what have you, right? So when you get into that sense of like, I don't want to mess this up because I don't want to scare away love, or love is conditional, um, you start out anxious in any situation, right? You feel like you can mess things up. Whereas if you feel safe in the relationship, you don't believe you can mess this up because, get this, any harm done to the other person is harm done to you and vice versa, right? So if you aren't afraid of harming yourself, then you can't be afraid of harming or scaring the other person if you feel safe in the relationship. So how do we feel safe in the relationship? Well, of course, we do want to kind of be on the lookout and start tracking to see if this is, if there are problems in the relationship, about, abuse or anything like that. But instead of jumping to the conclusion or making this assumption, right, we want to make sure that we feel solid within ourselves, right? That we feel safe with ourselves and we understand what safety feels like, what unconditional love feels like with ourselves before we start trying to like jump to conclusions about it being the other person. In many cases, very, well, maybe, but it's not fair for either person to jump to conclusions that who who's the problem, right? So like relationships are big and sticky, and this is like a big topic, so I don't want to go into every nook and cranny tonight. But when you walk into a a room with your partner or a potential partner and you're bringing with you the anxiety of like this is conditional, this is scarce, this is something that I don't know if I can hold on to, then you're walking in like you've got a third wheel, like you're not actually giving it a real chance. So in order to feel safe within our relationship, we feel safe within ourselves, and in order to feel safe within ourselves, you must rest your nervous system. You must learn to rest your nervous system, right? If you're dealing with like an anxious attachment style, you've probably struggled with feeling safe, you may not even know what that really truly feels like. Um, it's it's profound when you recognize, when you actually do rest your nervous system, and you recognize, oh, this is what it feels like to be safe. And when I did that, um, it totally changed the dynamic between us. It made me see that I was in an emotionally abusive relationship, and I needed to get out immediately. And I felt safe enough within myself to do so, right? If we feel love is scarce, if we feel that something like this will never happen again, if we are used to a tumultuous um, environment, we may not recognize that we don't actually feel safe. So start out by yourself, feeling safe. Am I safe right now? Resting the nervous system. Practice feeling safe in small doses. Now, then once you can do that, you take it out a little bit with other people. See how you feel. Can you rest in their presence? Right. I get told all the time now, ever since I had this discovery, I'm told all the time, one, it's so easy to talk to you. I feel so relaxed around you. I feel like I can rest, or you have a shine, right? If you want that feeling, if you want to be that person that provides that, you need to learn to really harness and activate your feminine energy, which is to rest, to be in a place of reception and receiving, and knowing that you're safe no matter what. Knowing you've got everything handled. You can handle anything that comes at you, and you don't have to prove it. You just know it. So if you struggle with feeling that sense of safety and ease and relaxation, by yourself or with other people, you're not alone. This is actually very common. This is what I deal with all the time. This is part of overcoming anxiety, is just feeling that safe. So reach out to me if you have any questions, you're struggling with this. I'm happy to help with that. I love, this is one of my favorite topics in the world, and otherwise I wouldn't be jumping on to talk about it, blabbing on. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again soon. So thank you.